Dom, obviously a career high for you, 16 points. And you really seemed to get aggressive in that second quarter there, 3 for 3 from the field, had that nice fast break drive and one. So, obviously, I'm sure you're going to say the team comes first, and obviously it was a tough loss, but just sort of looking at your individual performance, how'd you feel out there tonight?
I guess my mentality coming to the game was just to be aggressive. That was the main goal for us to just kind of attack their defense. And I just wanted to have my team's back and Riz's back. Riz is one of our best scorers on the team, so I just wanted to kind of basically help her, like just drive and kick outs and do the things that we need to do to kind of help our other offensive players kind of get a release on them so they can get their spots easier. And that's what my mindset coming in was, just to be aggressive.
And I just want to add, like, I'm really proud of you, Dom. I think you really stepped up in that moment.
Thanks,
You
Riz.
showed a lot of fight.
Thanks, Riz.
Right. And then for Riz, I think it was 5 points in the first half, but then you kind of had your breakout in the third quarter there, being very aggressive in your own right. And it seemed like that 4-point play to start the second half is sort of what got you going. Is that true? Did you feel like after that point you kind of felt the need to be a little more aggressive? Or, obviously you're the leading scorer on the team, so that's always kind of your role, but did that kind of get you going?
Yeah, I think it definitely got me going. And just like, I know I need to be aggressive for this team, like in my leadership and just trying to get people to come with me. And I didn't do that in the first half. So I think just like in the second half, I wanted to be the first person to step up and try to bring the team along with me.
Right. And then just talk about sort of some of the challenges that come with playing against Oregon and their ability to sort of mix in that 2-3 zone with the man-to-man look and just some of the challenges that created. I think there was 7 or 6 first quarter turnovers, and they had like 15 points off turnovers in the first half or something. So just talk about, I guess, what challenges they presented with their defense.
Yeah, Oregon's a pretty good team. I think honestly, we just made it hard for ourselves. Like we weren't executing what we were supposed to execute. Like we just had scout and practice yesterday. We went over things today, and we didn't go out there and do what we were supposed to do. So it made them get steals and get those aggressive plays. But yeah, I think we just need to be more locked in, and we cannot wait until the second half to do that.
And then, yeah, you talked about the second half. It seemed like there was sort of this sort of thrust of energy. I think Chantel and Imari each had 3 or 4 offensive rebounds, and that sort of helped you guys get going. Was it something said at halftime? Like you said, you kind of waited until the second half to really bring that energy. Was it something that was said or just sort of a wake-up call for you guys down 20 at the half?
I think Coach Cori challenged us in the locker room, and then I think we just know, like, we can't go back out there in the second half and play the same way that we played in the first half, where we're going to get blown out by 50 points. So I think everyone just knew, like, okay, this is our time to just punch them first. But like I said, like, we can't, against good teams, you cannot wait until the second half to do it. You have to do it all 4 quarters. So we need to really just look into ourselves and see how we can just be more consistent throughout 4 quarters, so that when we do play these really good teams coming up, we're ready and we can get the win.
Yeah, and then for both of you, finally, I know you're just coming off the loss, and it's the last thing you probably want to do is start talking about the next game, but you are traveling back home. You get another Pac-12 matchup, and obviously this one will actually count for the record, unlike the one today. So is there some, sort of a little peace of mind knowing that this game didn't count for the conference record? Maybe you guys are able to bounce back and get it back in the win column Friday against Colorado?
I think really we're not even focused on our record at this point. We're just focused on one game at a time, winning and trying to execute what we're supposed to do to win that game. So not really focused on like who we're playing in 2 games, who we're playing in 3 games. It's just like next game, how can we lock in? How can we focus? How can we learn from the past game?
Yeah, and adding on to that, we're just focused on getting better every day through film. We're going to watch a lot of film tomorrow and have a talk and just figure out what we need to do better for the next game. And like we said, we're not worried about our record or who we play. We're just kind of trying to figure out how can we be better as a team, because then that will help us perform better on the court.
All right, well, yeah, thanks for the time and good luck. Safe travels back to LA.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Cori.
Hello.
And do you want to go ahead and start with an opening statement?
Sure. I'm pissed off. And, I just, we showed that we have fight, and that's great, but you didn't do what we asked you to do from the start. And ultimately, we got to, I don't want to be a broken record, but we got to take some responsibility for the things under our control. And it's just, can't wait till you're down 20 in the second half to show that kind of fight and be that inconsistent with areas under your control. And that's, it's, I don't know, sometimes you got to choose either the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And right now we keep choosing the pain of regret. And, and at this point in the year, I can't run them through like, these really difficult things and, focus on toughness. They got to do it with their heart and their mind. And that's what we always say, the tougher, more together team wins. And so the first half, Oregon was by far the tougher, more together team. And, that's an issue. And I just feel, I'm just disappointed that we are having to deal with the pain of regret. And when we had every opportunity to choose the pain of discipline, it's hard. It takes what it takes. And, everyone, you make choices and there's consequences, good or bad, to every choice you make. And it's just disappointing to me that we would make choices that are not in line with our mission. And we make a commitment to each other to give our very best mentally and physically. And we're going to have to take ownership that we didn't do that tonight.
Hey, Coach, obviously, like you said, a disappointing loss. And I was just talking to Riz and Dom. One thing that stood out was Riz saying, I sort of talked about Oregon's defense, and she said, no, it didn't have anything to do with that. She kind of just took the blame on the team, and, we turned the ball over. We didn't come out ready to go. What is it going to take? Is it going to take a certain player to step up and be a more vocal leader? Is it going to take, what have practices been like? I mean, obviously, like you said, you can't be a broken record in terms of drilling things in your players' heads, but I guess what's it going to take going forward to, I guess, not have slow starts like this?
That's a great question, Gavin, because the reality is, if I knew the exact formula, every season is really, it's a puzzle. It's an art project. It's not a scientific formula. And, obviously this season has given us lots of twists and turns. And, some of it, like, for instance, some of it, we aren't as good in our chemistry offensively. It's great to have some bodies back. But, I think, Angela's had maybe 3 to 4 complete practices since October 30th. Cam and Chantel hardly ever are able to practice with some of their load management things, just all the, different aspects, Jay Penn's out for a month, and just those kinds of aspects. I mean, Jay Penn's only had 1 complete practice. And so I think that the chemistry part is hard. I mean, it is, but there's not a rhythm and or feel. But you know what? That either does one of 2 things. You either play like a victim, you hope something happens, you want it to be easy, or you go, okay, that might be hard, but I'm going to be that much better of a defender. I'm going to bring that much more energy. We haven't had 75 passion plays, which is our pretty much I would say we probably met 75 passion plays 85, 90% of the time last year. I think we've hit it 3 times. And, so it either goes, okay, well, you can count on me to get 1 more rebound then while we get our chemistry going or whatever else. You can count on me. I'm going to get a lockup. You can count on me to execute the scouting report and to take away the things that we need to take away and to live out what we've prepared to do. Or you can hope something good happens. And we have great kids. We have great young women I respect them, greatly, and I will never stop teaching from the inside out. But we didn't come here to join a sorority. We came here to be an elite basketball program. And so those character choices need to come out onto the court, and they need to be counted on to compete with toughness and togetherness night in and night out. And so, I think the reality, someone's got to make a decision. At halftime, I grabbed Chantel's jersey as an example, and it's a compliment to her because I knew she could handle it. I was like, somebody needs to get in this huddle and grab a jersey and go, not on my watch, step it up. I got to be able to count on you. Let's go. And, not because it's because you love your teammate that much that you will not let them settle for less than their best. And I'm going to be such a competitor. And I do think it needs to come from them. And I know I'm giving a long answer to your question, Gavin. If I knew it specifically, the reality was I would have fixed it. It's tricky right now because you're balancing so many things this time of year. We got 3 games in 5 days. Then we got, we go Thursday, Saturday to the Arizonas. Then we got 3 games in 4 days, and depending, it could be 4 games in 5 days. You just don't know. And so you have to have wisdom and discernment as a coach and balance. But mentally they got to make a choice, and it's got to hurt your pride that much that you're going to do whatever it takes within wisdom, with smart, to make a change. And, this has been a theme of this is sort of seeped into our DNA. And that's the part I feel most responsible for as a head coach man, when you put this jersey on, when you wear these 4 letters, it means something to me. Like, it means something that you represent something way bigger than yourself. And it just fries me when we take that for granted. It fries me when we don't prepare in a way that doesn't reflect how important we know that is. And it's got to get better.
Right. And then you mentioned Chantel when you talked about sort of needing someone to give maybe an emotional spark. I mean, for me, I think the biggest takeaway in that third quarter was her on the offensive rebounds. I think she had 4. I think Amari had 3. You guys had, I think, 10 offensive rebounds and 15 second chance points in the third quarter alone. That's what brought you guys back into the game. So, I guess just talk a little bit more about Chantel and Amari there on the offensive glass, what they were able to do to sort of bring you guys back in it.
Well, we're always trying to get about 40 to 45% of our misses, get second shot opportunities. And in that third quarter, we got 90% of the misses. We got another opportunity, 90%. So what does that tell you? That you all of a sudden you were more tired than to start the game, but it's a want to, it's a commitment. And, and you've heard me say this 100 times, like, how strong is your commitment? What can I count on from you? Because it's only your commitments. It's not your feelings. It's not your empty words. It is your commitments that I want to be able to count on night in and night out. I didn't say make all the shots. I didn't say play perfectly. I said, be a woman of your word and be willing to be governed by your commitments. And so it just shows you that, Imari and, I loved a lot of them. So many hustle plays. We had 19 passion plays in the first 4 minutes of that third quarter, 19, and we got 90% of the O boards. And unfortunately, you got to say, oh man, I'm leaving a lot in the tank all the other minutes. And it takes too much energy to come that far down. And, it wouldn't take any more. In fact, I think it would take less to start out that way. And we just haven't been able to count on each other to be committed enough to be able to say, hey, you can count on me. I'll get it done. And we just didn't.
I will try to get one little bright spot in here. Obviously, Dom had quite the performance individually, scoring career high 16. And what stood out to me was she just kind of seemed to suddenly start being aggressive in that second quarter. She knocked down that first baseline sort of fadeaway jumper, and then the next 2 possessions she scored again, and then she took it coast to coast. Had a 3-on-1, and she said, no, I'm going all the way, and got an and 1. So I guess let's just talk about her growth and the ability in a game like this where she was clearly needed to, sort of step up and be a leader.
Yeah. I think we needed offense. I mean, we had 2 quarters where we only scored 9 points, and, we needed her offense, and, career high 16 points. And I think she's been pretty consistent in her offensive spark. from pretty much the Oregon State game on. She's been a pretty consistent offensive player, and where her growth has got to continue to develop is on the defensive end, and is really being able to figure out how we can get stops in there too. But I'm really proud of how she's growing, and I think that you look at, really, we have a whole bunch of freshmen out there in some ways. I mean, Izzy. Actually, Angela is a redshirt, is a COVID freshman, so to speak. And then you've got Dominique, and they're young, and so they have some inconsistencies. But as you can see, there's a lot to build on with all of them. So, but one thing that's really amazing. You guys know I'm a Ted Lasso fan, but Shannon said this coming out of the locker room right before I came to talk to you, is that the great thing about Dom is she really is like a goldfish. I mean, she got 10-second memory, and she just goes to the next play. And I think that's a tremendous quality as a competitor. And she really possesses that. And it's my job to sort of harness. I got to bring urgency about how important some of those defense and boxing out kinds of skills need to be for her in order to find consistent minutes on the court. But I love that quality about her. And, I think it's really served her well, and it keeps her coming back because it has been hard.
All right. And then finally, I'll ask, it seems like you said, there's sort of these sort of astronomical things that you're trying to solve, but you do obviously have to fly back to LA and get right back in the Pac-12's swing of things on Friday. What, I guess, quick fix? I mean, there's no quick fix, but what will be the message in these next 2 days right before another really important conference game Friday?
Well, the good news is, we get a chance to play Colorado, who beat us up there, and then we get a chance to play Utah. And you're talking about, at least 3, maybe 4 NCAA tournament teams. Gives you, when you're talking about that level, those are quad 1, quad 2 wins that are important, and so you can either look at that as, oh my gosh, we got 3 games, or man, what an opportunity. Let's go. Do you really want to hear my voice anymore? Make the change mentally, let's go to work. And they're going to have to choose with their mind and their heart. And, if it doesn't bug you that we let one go up in Colorado, then we got bigger issues. I do believe our team will respond, but actions speak louder than words. So, and we're going to have to, there's no time to, I can't run them. I can't, there's all kinds of different things, but are you going to have next game speed, next play speed we talk about, or are you going to see it as an opportunity? Are you going to be that competitor that's like, man, this doesn't sit right with me. I got to make changes. I got to give more to the team. Or are you going to be in the pity pond? And, there's no swimming laps in our pity pond. Get out and compete, get out and change, get out and grow. And, that I think it's very fitting. I'm using Coach Yao quotes right now. Coach Yao used to say those 2 things, and they're 2 of my favorites, that if you're going to, have the pity pond, you can swish your feet, but no swimming laps. And then she also used to say, when life kicks you, just make sure it kicks you forward. And so it's fitting that on Sunday is going to be our pink game, or maybe it's Friday. Friday is our pink game. And, it's something that we're playing for a lot bigger than ourselves. And we'll see if we learn something from Coach Yao or not.